Howdy everyone, it's Al with Longoria House Dog Training. Hey, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Hey, this is a virtual reality video, and if this is your first time watching one of ours, you can actually take your mobile device, your phone, and look around the scene. I went ahead and put all the really important stuff directly in front of you. What you're going to be watching is a training session with Gumbo. He's one of our new clients, and he's going to be learning how to stay on his bed. I'm also going to be teaching his owner how to communicate clearly using a leash, as well as the dog's food, and then also using a clicker to help him understand. Well, hey, thanks so much for watching this video, and stay tuned.
And you can just have this. So a couple of things that I'll teach you. So did you know that these slip leashes can go on backwards?
No.
So it actually is on backwards right now.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm going to teach you that, okay? So when you go to put a slip leash on, okay, you want to make sure that this piece of leather for that metal ring, it's actually fitted over the iron. Now one thing I want you to know is, like, I know you're trained and you're a veterinarian, and I have a lot of respect for you guys, but I want you to see the way that I handle a dog, because I feel, and maybe you might be able to prove me wrong, I have more patience with dogs than most anybody that else. So now, look at where I put it. It's real high, and then I do that. And look, if you're ever dealing with an aggressive dog in your practice, having the leash like that on the dog's head will really, really come and help you out. And I'm going to show you just a couple of things, okay? So one thing that you can do, if you've ever had to hold a little kid's hand, there's actually a way to hold a dog's hand. You bring your arm all the way down, and right there where I'm pinched, you're going to take the leash and you're going to put a knot right there, and that knot then will give you leverage. So here, if I need to just move a dog, it becomes very simple for me to be able to move them. Okay, does that make sense? And then the calmer that you are, the faster that you're going to be able to do that. So what are the languages? Pressure, scent, motion, sound. So we're going to begin to teach you about pressure. Now I'm showing you technique right here. I got 3 fingers right there, and then I have the knot right here underneath my peace sign. So if I'm going to communicate to him with the leash, the principle that guides how I use the leash is pressure on. He does the thing on. So it's on, and then when he fully gets on the bed, then I turn it off. The mistake that people make is that they turn it on, and then in anticipation of the dog getting right, they turn it off early. It's very important for at least this next month that as much as you can, do not turn it off until he fully realizes the thing that you want, okay? So if I want him to come off, I come back to my knot, I get the dog on my left-hand side. I pressure the line, and when he does the thing that I want him to do, then what happens to the pressure? It releases. And this right here, what's happening right now, is a very important thing, because like a dog, like I'm not applying that much pressure.
Right.
He's applying the majority of it. And if you can't lead your dog off the bed, this is one of the reasons why leash walking is so difficult, because he doesn't know how to be led. So there, I was patient, he did it, what happened to pressure? Turned off. Pressure on, he fully does the thing I want him to do. Pressure off.
Okay.
So one more time, I'm keeping him on my left. The saying that I have there is, we lead with our left, pressure on, he does it, pressure off. Pressure on, I keep it on, he fully does it, pressure off.
Okay.
If I'm going to reward with pressure, but there's different kinds of rewards, and most of the time when I see pet owners come to reward their dog with pressure, this is where they're at, and this is what it looks like. And that makes your dog more excited. For what you want to do, if you're going to make a reward for the dog, and I'm not going to touch him now because he just made a mistake, I pet him along his back. What we believe is that actually releases more oxytocin to the bloodstream, and that actually has more of a calming effect. It's more tingly when you're up here, and it's a lot warmer when you're back here. Okay, does that make sense? So that's the language of pressure, and there's some motion inherent in that. What side of our body are we keeping the dog on? On our left, okay, because this is how we're going to be able to meet people and walk up to other dogs and be able to do a lot of different things. Okay, I'm going to go to the last language. What's the last language? sound. And we're going to start looking at voice. So here, our sentence structure is going to be pressure, motion, sound. So we're going to teach him free, and we're going to teach him go to your bed. Okay? Any sentence structure, anytime that we're using, whether it's pressure or sense to begin it, it's always going to end with the voice command being the last thing that you do.
Okay.
So here we go. So watch. So pressure, I've already started moving, okay? And I have to be persistent. I could take my hand off of the knot if I wanted to, but it's important that the leash do this. Now, some mistakes that I could make, I could point the leash like this. And that's not actually telling the dog to move in any direction. This is free, good boy, pressure, motion, go to your bed, good dog, very good boy. The last thing you're hearing is the praise component. There's a difference between commands and praise. The praise is the thing that generates emotion. Right, again. Free, good boy, easier that time. Pressure. Go to your bed, good boy. Very good boy. Is that making sense to you? Okay, one more time. Free, good boy. Go to your bed. Good dog. Very good boy. Okay. Any questions there before we move on to the next thing?
Yeah, I think we're good.
It's only going to get more complicated from the complication. Go to your bed. The complication that I'm going to add is now. Fish it out of here.
The clicker.
The clicker. You can go grab yours. Yeah, go grab your clicker. Okay. So when I teach the clicker, it's a triangle. I click, I talk, and then I reach into my pouch. I should never have the food. You know, the majority of I'm not going to say never, but you should really try not to have the food already in your hand.
Okay.
In your hand prior to your voice going off. So just watch the technique. Like I'm going to say right here, this is not about him, this is about how I communicate. I've got my pouch open. Where's my pouch? Behind my back. And so then I'm going to click. Good boy. Very good boy. Good dog. Very good boy. What I don't want to do, the biggest mistake that I coach people on is having their hand already in the pouch or starting to move towards the pouch when they do that. So you see the hand is right there. There you go. And then put it behind your back. So here's what it looks like again. Click, praise, reach. Good boy. Very good. Good dog. Very good boy. Good boy. So now I'm using 3 forms of reinforcement right there. I use the taste of the food, the sound of my voice, and the petting of my hand. Here we go again. All right. Good boy. Very good. Very good boy. So that's the technique that you use to use the clicker. There's variations of it. There's variations of that technique, okay? But the thing for sure is that you don't want to really be grabbing the food prior to that. And this is important what's going on right now. He came off with it. I'm not trying to choke him. I'm trying to tell him to come get back on. But it's kind of like if I push on this wall and I keep pushing against it, it's going to continue to push back. And I really want him to learn how to respect the boundary because that's really what makes the stay. There's 2 things that make the stay. The reward for doing it and the consequence for breaking the thing that I asked you to do. That's what's going to make the decision. I actually want him to step off so I can show him the consequence of that particular action. One thing I want to do is as we're working this, we want to make sure that our leash stays as high as possible. It's going to slip as we're doing this, especially considering how powerful he is. All right, so now we're going to incorporate what I just did with the clicker into the training I showed you, but we're not going to click the free.
Okay.
So just watch pressure, motion, sound, praise. Pressure, motion, sound, click, praise, reach.
Okay.
Free, good boy. And I'm going to coach you through this. Pressure, motion, go to your bed. Good boy. Very good boy. Good dog.
Okay.
It's not like you're going to be like, wow, that's a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, I'm like,
is.
okay, how do I
It is,
remember everything?
but the way to remember is I'm going to coach you through it.
Okay.
And when we do this, we're going to break it down to one thing at a time. So why is it ringing down in here? Oh, it's my employee. Should have understood. No, so one more time. Free. Good boy. Go to your bed. Good boy. Good dog. How much of a rush am I in? Good dog. Very
Not
good.
very.
Good dog. Who's in control?
Yeah.
I don't have to rush because I'm the one that's in control of everything that's going on there. Okay,
Okay.
I'm going to hand them over to you here in a moment. I do want to teach you one more thing. This is probably the fastest thing that we're going to do, but now it's not. It doesn't get any more complicated than what I just did. It's just a little faster. We're going to communicate to him in scent. Most people think that when they're communicating in scent, that they should show the food to the dog and get them to do it, and I really think that that's a mistake. Okay, I think that if you're going to use scent, that the scent should be fully hidden until the dog is completely finished the thing you want. But you should hide your scent inside of a gesture.
Okay.
So here I'm going to do scent, motion, sound, click, praise, and then show it to him.
Okay.
Down. Good boy. That's a good boy. Notice how disciplined I was to not show him the food until after the praise.
Okay.
Good boy. Let me show that to you again. Yeah, he's very, very tolerant to pressure. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you that the more gentle you become under pressure, the more that he's going to want to resist.
Okay.
Okay, that's just really like you can see that like here. This is like I could go thinner. Like I could go on a thinner line, we risk injury if we do that, but like here I'm telling him to sit up, and he's like saying like, I don't want to do that, I'm just gonna tolerate, and this is all I've got on him. I can make him get up, but the goal of training is not to make the dog do anything, it's to make the associations so he can learn how to do it for himself. I'll go ahead and go through this process again. Great, good boy. This is one of the reasons that you're struggling on your walk. It's because how you're responsible should go to your bed. Good boy. That's a good boy. There's some food there. Now I've saved some of it. I'm going to turn it to my gesture. Scent, motion, patience, down. Okay. Good boy. That's a good boy. And then last thing, my stays. When I move away from the dog, am I still looking at him? I am.
Oh, you are?
I'm using my peripheral vision to keep, like, I don't want to walk away from the dog like this because it's very intimidating. I want to allow him to come off, but then if I like what I see, click, good boy. And then I come back, and then I feed the thing that I clicked. So I move away.
Okay.
I'm still looking at him, using the peripheral of my vision. What am I watching for? I'm watching for him to step off. Do I want him to step off when I'm moving away? I do, so I can put him back. Is he staying? Good boy. And now we begin. This is really what the majority of your training should look like, is that he's staying, and then you are randomly clicking, but you're clicking often enough to keep him there, but you're taking long enough that you're actually growing the skill.
Okay.
Good boy. Good boy. All right, last thing. Yeah, I just remembered the last thing I have to teach you. So you wanna make his name important because coming when called is such an important thing. So in this process of clicking and praising and delivering the food, we can insert his name in there.
Okay.
Watch what I'm doing with my hand when I say his name. Good boy. That's a good boy. Good boy, Gumbo. Good dog. If you put the name right there at the moment that he's biting the piece of food, it'll become the most powerful.
Okay.
Good boy. Good dog. Okay, so I'm going to hand him over to you. That's a lot of stuff. I'm not asking you to do all that. So I'm not asking you to do all that. All you have to start with is the leash and your movement.
Okay.
So the thing that I'm going to be the most picky about right now is, are you turning the leash on and off, and when he's actually done the thing. So just to give you a quick preview, you're going to do this, 3 fingers there, You're gonna grab that, you're gonna lead him in the direction. He's gonna be stubborn with you, and when he is, you gotta be patient. If you've been patient for 10, 15 seconds and he's not coming off, you're gonna have to make him come off. He has to learn this. We'll be patient, but he does have to do it at some point. So then, if he's not gonna come, you're just gonna basically make him come off of there. Free, and you won't say free yet, you'll just do what? Slack the leash when he comes off. Then when you want to go back, pressure, he gets all the way on there, and then you can be a little late, then you can slack it.
Okay.
You don't want to slack early because that sends the wrong message. Go and take that, 3 fingers here, okay? You can use that knot in your hand, begin to guide him off, okay? We'll give him about 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, make him come off. Yeah, just start walking. And slack it up a little bit. Perfect. Okay, repressurize it, nice and gentle. Okay, guide it, keep it on, keep it on, keep it on. And off. There. Let me see you pet him in a calming way. I do think that's a little fast.
Okay.
It's okay though, but like what you gotta do with your petting is like if you're trying to have a calming effect on the dog with your hand, look at if what his behaviors are doing. Is he coming up or is he relaxing? Okay? Let's do that whole thing again. Take him off, pressure, begin to lead. Okay, make him come. And slack. Good. And it only slacks for a second because he's so resistant to it. Now pressure, speed up your pace a little bit. There you go. Keep it on, keep it on, keep it on, keep it on. Off. Now some calm petting, slow. Good. It hasn't become a problem right now, but you're holding your right hand like that because you're concentrating a lot. Everybody does that, okay? What I want you to think about is that every time that you cock your arm to grab the leash, that's okay, but then I do want you to come back down with your arm as you're doing that, okay? Okay, let's do that one more time, okay? Pressure, begin to make, and this is going to make him come on, slack. Good. Pressure, keep it on, and slack. Good job. Go and do a little bit of that. Okay, so we're going to add your voice now. It's the same thing, okay, back up. If he comes off, you'll use the leash to put him back on. Normally I don't give the advice, okay, so normally I'm going to teach you this. When you back up, what I want you to do, good, he came off. When you back up, what I want you to try to stay disciplined about doing is don't drop the leash because that's your conduit for communication.
Okay.
When you see me back away from a dog, what most of the time that you're going to see is that when I back away, I open up the space of my body so that way they can choose to come off. But I don't let go of the leash because what I want to do is I want to time when he steps off, that I apply the pressure, and then when he gets back on, then I remove the pressure.
Okay.
Because that's an important. You know, do you know the quadrants of operant conditioning? Maybe these will ring a bell. Positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement. Reinforcers make your dog want to do the thing that they're doing more. And then there's positive punishment, there's negative punishment. Punishers just tell your dog to do things less. Well, if your dog steps off and then you add pressure, that's called a positive punisher, it makes him want to come off the bed less. But then, when he gets on the bed and the pressure goes away, that's called a negative reinforcer that tells your dog to get on the bed more. And so the balance of those two things actually make a big deal to the dog. We can add positive reinforcement by doing what? By adding food. We can create negative punishment by withholding food, by withholding petting. So positive punishment right there, right? And once he gets all the way back on, we have negative reinforcement right there. Do you see that? They're both sides of the same coin. Okay, let's take him back again. We're going to do pressure, motion, sound. What are the commands? Free and go to your bed. Okay, pressure. Free.
Free.
And they'll say, good boy once.
Good boy.
There you go, pressure, motion, go to your
Go
bed.
to your bed.
Slack, good boy,
Good boy.
good boy. Okay, do it again. Free,
Free.
good boy. You want to say it a little bit earlier, right as he's coming off.
Go to your bed.
Good boy.
Good boy.
So, well, okay, so what's happening here? Is he getting excited?
Yeah, he can smell my food, I
You
think.
can. But what else did we add? We added your voice. I want you to notice something, okay? Do you know that the pitch of your voice goes up when you talk to your dog, and when you talk to me, it goes low?
No.
It does. Do you know that practically every person sweet talks their dog? I'm saying it's okay. If this was a patient of yours, you may not actually sweet talk him. You actually might not even talk all that much. How much did I talk to the dog? I only talked at certain times. And so just as a point of emphasis, what I want you to do right now is I want you to actually talk to him like if he was a human,
Okay.
as opposed to talking to him like he's your furry pet, because that may help you. Now, if you start talking to him on a lower tone and he's still jumping on you, it has everything to do with the food.
Okay.
But let's see. Talk to him like he's a human. Pressure, guide him off, and then once he starts coming, you're going to say, free. Good boy.
Good boy.
Perfect. Pressure. Go to your
Go
bed.
to your bed.
Keep it nice. Good boy.
Good boy.
Good boy. Okay, so there, it might be a combination of the food and the petting and the praise that you want all that. That's okay, he's gonna have to learn some self-control. Okay, you're getting it, you're doing well. Now, do you have the clicker on you or do you need one? Okay, grab your clicker. Don't focus on him right now, you're gonna focus on yourself. Put him back on. Okay, that's the only thing that I want you to do. Once you get him back on, stand directly in front of him and you're gonna work that triangle. So go ahead and let go there with your hand. Keep the leash handle here. And now put the clicker right there underneath those two fingers. Click, praise, and then you're going to reach back here to grab the food. So click, say good boy.
Good boy.
And now come and grab the food. Good dog. You're going to go into that mechanism, okay? Let's do that a few times, okay? So, there you go. Good
Good
boy.
boy.
Okay. Why did I move over here? To manage your arm. And if you're using the clicker a little bit like a remote, that's okay. I want it to be, and you're not like at attention, but it's supposed to be neutral body language. So do it one more time. Click, talk,
Good boy.
and then reach. You're doing a great job. Good boy. Keep talking. Good boy.
Good
So
boy.
now, once the clicker goes off, you should talk the entire time, because what does that do to your voice? That's when your voice actually gets power. One more time. Good,
Good boy.
Good boy, buddy.
Good boy, Gumbo.
Good boy.
Good boy.
There you go. Good dog. So now you're going to take this and you're going to insert it into the go to your bed. I'll help you with it. You're not in a rush. Just try to think about it's going to be. You're going to start moving. You're going to pressure the leash. You're going to move. You're going to say go to your bed, and then you're going to click. You're going to say good boy several times, and you reach in your pouch. But I'll help you through it. Does it have to be perfect? No. No, it doesn't have to be perfect. If it is, do you get a benefit because of that? Yes. But if it's close, he has a dog brain, he'll figure it out.
Okay.
Okay? So let's try it. Let's try it free, and let's try to go to your bed. Pressure. Free.
Free.
Good boy.
Good boy.
Okay? Pressure. Motion. Sound is next.
Go to your bed.
And now click. Good boy.
Good boy.
And now take all the time you need. Good
Good
boy,
boy.
Gumbo.
Good boy, Gumbo.
That's a good boy.
Good
dog.
boy.
Okay? Your pitch is coming up a little bit because that's our MO, that we all do that with our pets. Just be aware of that.
Okay.
That if you're doing it too much, your voice may actually be becoming a source of excitement as opposed to a source of becoming calmer. And that's the big thing with this dog.
Okay.
Okay? Let's get him into a down. Just focus on scent and motion, but do not show him the food
Okay.
until he's all the way down. Put the scent to his nose, hide the source of the scent. Okay. Point, lower him. So you see how you changed your gesture? You went from this to a closed hand, right? Don't show him the food. It's okay. That's what I'm here for, right? Is to teach you this stuff.
And
And then
then
give it to him, yeah.
good boy, Gumbo.
There you go, good.
Good boy.
So if you want to see what that looks like, okay, let me leash for a second. And here, I'm trying to translate to him, what languages am I using here? Pressure and scent.
Okay.
I'm trying to teach him that this and the scent of the food mean the same thing. See what I did there with the leash? And so I'll give him a little bit so he has a memory of that. But now I'm going to hide I'm going to do this gesture because I want him to learn that. I'm going to let him smell. I'm going to lower him. I'm going to become patient. Once I see him all the way in the down, which is right there, that's where my click would have been, then I show him the food.
Okay.
Okay? But here, we're going to do that little exercise again. I'm going to give him the scent. I'm going to draw him up. Okay? And he doesn't get to see the food. He just gets to smell the scent. So I've got the, so see how both of these are working on the same line? Because that's the sit command. But I want him to understand it. And it takes patience to work with a dog that is very resistant. So there, it wasn't a sit, but it was a stand, but it's close, and so I can click to help myself. So watch. Down. Good boy. I did the same thing that I did for go to your bed, except this time instead of it being pressure motion sound, it was scent motion sound. Okay, are you learning some stuff? It doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to show you what really great handling looks like so that way you can begin to practice and mimic these things. So let's do this whole revolution. We're going to do a free, we're going to do a go to your bed, and then we're going to do a down, and the next thing we're going to work is stay after that. Okay, take that, okay? So grab your knot, begin to ask him to come off, say free,
Free.
good boy,
Good boy.
pressure, motion, sound is next, go to your
Go
bed.
to your bed.
Click. Good boy.
Good boy.
Reach for your food. Okay. Good boy. I'll give him the food.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. So why? Because he clicked, right? Let me just I'm going to make an observation. If you click, don't go to pet first. Go to the food.
Okay.
And then while he's eating, that's when I want you to pet. Let's
Okay.
do that again.
Okay. Free.
Good boy.
Good boy.
Take pressure. Motion.
Go to your bed.
Click. Good boy.
Good boy.
Keep talking.
Good boy, Gumbo.
Give him the food.
Good
Now,
boy,
there you go.
Gumbo.
Good dog. Okay.
Good boy.
All right. Try your down. Stay down.
Down.
Don't show him the food yet. Wait till he's all the way in the way. Now, don't repeat yourself. Stay super patient. When you see what you want, you're going to click first, and then you get to show it to him. Don't show it to him until he does it. You're going to give him 10 more seconds to figure it out. Put the food in your pouch. And now do nothing. And now stand at the end of the leash, away from the dog a little bit. If he comes off, come back in. What you're doing here is you're like, hey, you have to try a little harder.
Okay.
You said, I gave you plenty of opportunity. You just wanted to eat the food. Why don't you try something? So you know what you're doing intentionally right now? Frustrating him. That's an important part. That's a form of punishment that says that you got to try harder to do the things because like you want to be able to say down and the dog immediately does it. If he can't do the down for food in your hand and you pointing to the ground, then he's absolutely not going to do it when it matters when the voice command comes out.
Okay.
Okay, let's try to do it again.
You want me to do the whole thing?
No, just try this. This is where we're at right now. Begin to lower him. Begin to become patient. You're doing great. It's his job to figure it out. Good, he's trying something. Say down, and
Down.
then you click, and then you feed.
Good
So you want to
boy.
put the voice
Good
command
boy.
in front of the click.
Good boy.
Right in front of it. Good boy. Okay?
Good boy.
Let's go to that whole progression again because I want you to get another rep of the day. Okay.
Free.
That was
Good
better.
boy.
Good, you're doing a good job with your voice too. Pressure.
Go to your bed.
Good
Good
boy.
boy.
Grab your food. No petting this time. Good boy.
Good boy.
Good boy, Gumbo.
Good boy, Gumbo.
Now let's get him into the down. Down.
Down.
Click. And then show it to him. You were mid-click and your hand was doing this. I'm just picky today,
Yeah.
but those are things that matter because what's he looking at the moment that you do it? Your hand. And so your hand rotating becomes a signal that, oh, okay, That's something I would pay more attention to her
So I
hand.
need to take this
It needs to
down.
really, and then click, so what it should look like, let me see for a second. Good boy, there you got that one right. So it should look. Down. Good boy, good job. Very good boy. And I exaggerated it there for your benefit, but like, I definitely don't want to show it to him early, and it doesn't really matter if I show it to him late.
Okay.
But if I show it early, it impacts his brain, and he says, I need to remember that. So let's work our stay. You leave him there, but you never take eyes off of him. You're going to keep him in your peripheral vision, so begin to move away from him. And I want you to walk away about 3 to 5 steps from your dog. And then, if you like what you see, then you go into the whole click and praise and then reach. Go ahead and click now. Good boy.
Good boy.
And then you're going to give him the food in the position that he was in when you clicked. Good boy, Gumbo.
Good boy, Gumbo.
Good boy.
Good
Okay, walk
boy.
away again. Okay, keep eyes on him. And so this is how you build your stay. And then you wait a few seconds. You can look at him at some point if you want. Good,
Good boy.
There you go.
Good boy.
What's been the most significant thing
Good
that you've
boy.
learned so far in what we're doing?
Just that I can keep him here, and that like I always tried to train, like especially her with just food, as opposed to like associating it with pressure.
Okay, reward again. Good boy.
Good boy.
Hey, and that's a really good point.
boy. Good
But
boy.
look, let's just think about the dog's existence, okay? So what's the very first thing that the dog ever experiences? Comes out the birth canal.
Love.
No, okay, no, so that's good, like, that's very ambiguous, you can't see love. Love is an intangible. So the very first thing that any dog ever experiences is coming out of the birth canal and getting clean.
Oh.
And what is that? It's pressure. What's the second thing that the dog experiences? Scent. Okay, what's the third thing the dog experiences? Taste. What's the next thing after that? Well, there's going to be a lot of pressure, scent, and taste for several weeks. Then the next thing that happens is what? Motion. What's the last thing that the dog experiences? Sound. Think about the way the dog, like you know this better than I do, the last thing that develops are the ears and the dog's ability to be able to hear. Now it's great hearing, but it's last.
Yeah.
And what's first? Pressure. Is pressure always relevant? It is. Because the path of least resistance always applies, but the pathway of reward is susceptible to the law of diminishing returns. So like if you like food, if he loves food, he can only consume so much before the value of the food will go to zero. Right? Like you're from Louisiana, right? You can only eat so much crawfish. Like I love crawfish. Yeah, you can't eat 9 pounds.
Yeah.
If you could, I would be like the first human ever. Okay? So, so the thing is that your leash is such an important tool as part of this. I don't mind you doing scent-based training and teaching him your gestures with that. I can teach him my gesture with pressure too. But pressure is always relevant. And in situations where, let's say that you have his favorite food, but something else in the environment is more appealing, you have no chance, you have no control. And you know what, the only thing that really gives that control is pressure. And there's different kinds of pressure. Right now we're talking physical pressure, but the thing that you also need for your dog to create respect is psychological pressure. But psychological pressure is either, well, it's both. It's both genetic and it's both learned. So like this right here, the fact that he's not coming off, it's psychological pressure because we've made an association that if you come off, you don't get any rewards and we apply physical pressure to you. It's not to hurt him, but it is intensely supposed to make him feel discomfort. Because the emotion of discomfort punishes behaviors. But how much of the training should actually be punishment? What percentage? Well, it should probably be no more than 10, but it shouldn't be any less than 1. Because if you never punish, then you never be able to create the opportunity to do the 99% of the work that you need, which is actually the reinforcement of the behavior that you want. Okay, and as I'm doing this with you, I'm actually trying to teach you something else. You have to be able to be in the middle of a conversation, in the middle of life, and you still have to be doing the training. You cannot have training sessions because then this turns into a trick. You have to do this when you're getting dressed, when you're in the kitchen, when you're answering the door, when you're doing anything. This is your cue right now to be clicking right now. Good, there you go, that's what I'm trying to teach you, good. I have to be, okay, so you gotta be like, you have to literally like be here watching television and working the skill. That other dog has to be down here running around, and you've gotta be clicking, and you've gotta be putting him back in order for him to really understand that, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this all the time because it's a life skill. Click again. Good. Okay? Is that useful information for you? Okay? Yeah, like the food-based training is great. I'm not, like, obviously we're using a lot of food, right?
Yeah.
But you also have to use the leash because otherwise, as soon as the value of the food is less than anything else in the environment, what's going to happen to this behavior? It's going to disintegrate like that. Yeah, because like how hard is it, how hard is it for him to see something like that and to control himself? But that's the very thing that we need him to do. I need to be able to be down on the floor. Good, see, I triggered him right there. Did he do right? Good, now you're learning.
Boy.
There you go.
Good boy.
But then, what you gotta do is you gotta temper your excitement for your dog getting it right. Because right there, you were like, oh, he got it right, and what happened to the voice and the energy?
Oh, yeah.
It comes up. And I'm intentionally leading you in those directions so I can teach you that. I'm making you get excited. So if you want to have a calmer dog, who has to be calm first? Yeah, but you can. I have a lot of admiration for what you do professionally, man. It takes a lot of calmness to be able to do some of the things that you do. So you got to deploy that here with your dog as well. What questions do you have? What questions do you have for me?
At the moment, I can't think of any.
Okay.
But can I watch this video so I can?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's going to take, look, these files are pretty massive.
Okay.
Like this video, which is going to be close to 40 minutes, it's going to be over 200 gigabytes.
Okay.
It's a huge file. It takes me some time to do, but I have, okay, and I'm going to call you on something in a second, okay? You're good. Oh, I'm going to teach you something else. It's going to probably take a few weeks for me to get to it, but I have other videos that are almost the same thing, but yes, you'll be able to watch it. Click again. The thing that I saw that you did there, and I don't know for sure that you did it, is that you psychologically begin to leave the training session in your head. I saw you do that because you put the clicker into your pocket. You don't need to have the clicker, okay? But you do need to continue to reward. If your dog is on there, you cannot leave the training session psychologically because then he's going to expose that and be like, oh, when she's turned off, I can go back to doing what I was. It would be important for you at some point to say, hey, like you can come off the bed now. And then you could end the session there. But as long as he's there, you got to psychologically stay there with him. That'll get easier for two reasons. One, you'll get more practice, and two, when he gets more practice, he's going to get better. And as he gets better, his ability to stay there for longer periods of time will become important. Let me just teach you one thing that I thought of at the very beginning of our training session.
Okay.
You were saying that, oh, we've been doing the homework, and he's even getting on there on his own. I think that's fantastic. The biggest thing that I want you to take away from that is that that's all based on his desire to want to do it for whatever reason. And I want him to understand over the next couple of weeks that when you touch him, then you have an expectation that he's going to do that to remove any of the touches that you put on him. Because when he goes there on his own, is there any pressure? Now, when you ring the doorbell and you're trying to deal with your dog because he's loose, is there a lot of pressure on him? Yes. So you are giving him a mechanism to understand, what do I do with the pressure? So even in those easy moments, I want you using the pressure, because then when it gets hard,
he'll know what to do with it instead of it's never there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So do you want me, like, okay, say he goes to his bed, like I'm getting ready for in the morning, I'm eating breakfast, whatever, and he goes to the bed.
Well, if he goes to his bed on his own, you can't apply pressure, right? Because you're
Right,
not connected to the
so
leash.
do I need to-
But what you would do is if you were making breakfast, what would you do? You would grab your leash and you would put him on his place while you're making breakfast.
Okay.
You want to show him that, and then you also want to have what's your husband's name? Matt.
Matt, yeah.
So when Matt comes home, if you happen to be home, if I know that y'all's schedules are a little,
Yeah.
but let's just say that one or the other person is home. Before the spouse comes in the door, there needs to be a phone call
Okay.
and say like, hey, I'm about to walk in the door any moment. Put him on his bed right now with pressure. Let the other person walk in. Who cares if he comes off? But if he comes off, you put him back. And if he stays on, you click.
Okay.
But be patient there, because when the dog gets excited, I probably don't click. When he gets excited, you know what I do is I just come to give him the food. But if he comes off and I didn't click, I don't have to give it.
Okay.
If I click, do I have to give it to him? I do, I'm obligated. So here, he does that, he stays, and this is how he's gonna learn. He's gonna learn to be able to control himself, okay? Does that make sense, Robin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's not so easy. It takes communication.
I think that one's gonna be the hardest because when we get home, he's like crazy rambunctious, and it's hard because like when other people come through the door,
It's the same thing.
he jumps all over.
But that's because
them.
there's no plan.
Right.
There's no plan for him to become successful.
Mhm.
Free your dog right now. Yeah, free. Okay. Keep the leash on him, but I want you to free him.
So do like what we did.
Yep, do what we did. Yep.
Free.
Okay, great. Now,
Good boy.
maybe put a little bit of extra food on the bed for a second. Walk away.
Good boy. Good
Okay. Now you got to keep eyes on him. You got to be able to keep eyes on him, and you got to be able to be good. Okay. So put him back on. And so those are the types of mistakes that you go to your bed.
Go to your bed. Good boy.
No. Why?
Because he messed up.
You messed up. What should you do right now? Nothing. Back away. Back away. Keep eyes on the dog. Do we want him to come off right now? We do, so that way you can do what? Put him back. So stay in the kitchen area where you would normally be. If in about a minute or 30 seconds he hasn't done the down, what do you do then? Then you put him into it. Okay. Go ahead and help him out. Let's get him into the down. There you go. Good boy.
Good boy.
And you want to say down right there when you
Down.
right before you click. So now walk away from him. Now we're going to work in a team. I've got your back. Go ahead and kind of come out of the area. You can take eyes off him. If there's two of y'all, you can do that. But somebody has to be able to see his feet, right? Because I want to be able to tell him. So there, you're over here. Hey, how are you doing? It's nice to see you. Is he doing it right? There, now go reward.
Good boy.
Okay, quick question. When I clicked, what was he doing?
He was.
In a down. What was he doing when you fed him?
He turned
He
around
was standing. What should you have done with the food? Use the food
to put him back down.
to put him back into the down. He was obligated to receive it. So there, you would have clicked the down. You would have come to his nose.
Do you mind if I get?
No, I don't mind at all. Do what you got to do. That's what happens when you go on vacation.
No.
That's a good boy.
And when you say down before the click?
I did. I didn't say it there though. And I like to sometimes give commands in the dog's native languages without adding my own. But then because the focus The focus is on trying to keep the dog there for as long as possible. I like the voice commands, but I would rather have like go to your bed and that's it. Not go to your bed, lay down, stay. I don't want all of that. And so now I want to click, but I don't want anything, I don't want any sound in front of it because I just want it to be what it's like, 99.999% of the time.
Okay.
So now come around, I've got your back. Okay. And so this is what maybe what it looks like whenever you have people come over. You might have to have a human stand like this. Go to your bed. You might have to have a human stand like this as people come in the door. They'll be the dog trainer and then somebody else gets to be the host. See what I'm doing with my leash? I want to give him the opportunity to come off so I can teach him that we're not going to allow you to do that. And like now, I'm not telling him to do anything. I want him to come up with a solution to the problem. That you have to lay back down. Good boy.
Good boy.
That's it. No, that's it. Why? Because he's moving in the right direction and I'm helping him. But it's not perfect. You need to be all the way down and calm before you're going to get any reward. So like, if when both of y'all come home and he's super crazy, you want to be prepared to be able to do this. If he's loose and you don't have a leash and you don't have food and you don't know where he's supposed to be,
It's chaos.
how can you guide and lead him to being right? And the answer is you can't, right? Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, so go ahead and lead him into that. Good. You have good listeners.
Down.
Click. Good boy.
Good boy.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? We're just about out of time.
I think that's it.
Okay. Look, be disciplined about practicing this.
Okay.
There's not you don't need to be practicing 10,000 things. You need to practice these 3 things
Okay.
like 1,000 times, and that's how you actually get good at it. And then use it in the circumstances that typically lead you to actually having your dog misbehave, because then now he's going to have a skill. He learns that this is the way to go about it. That's really going to help him in a way to understand, like, oh, this is what I was supposed to be doing all along. You definitely love your dog, but when he's doing all of that, it's hard to love the way that he's acting, right? And if you practice it, he'll eventually get good. He's not a dummy. He's no dummy at all. Is this a diffuser for essential oils? Or oh, it is.
Yeah.
So you could diffuse lavender during your sessions, and that will actually help you to have a calming effect on the dog. So
Okay.
I wouldn't be opposed. Like, I would actually recommend that you do something like that, because
Okay.
that makes it a little bit easier for him.
Perfect.
Okay. Have you ever seen him like this before? No. Okay.
He was getting when Matt and I were both here doing it. He stayed for a while in that other spot.
Okay.
Well, hey, thank you very much for watching this video with Gumbo and his owner, where they've been learning, how to stay in the living room, in the kitchen, nice and calm and under control. If there's ever anything that I can do to help any of you guys, please drop a comment down below, send me a message. We'd love to help you raise a happy and reliable dog. All right, guys, y'all take it easy. Take care.